in Aussie, so we'll address that today. How's everyone doing? Dollar steady. S&P's coming back today. Yield still higher, yen higher. Hello, Steve, Arlo, Ryan. Okay. Michael, Ingmar, doing okay. How you, Will? K-Man, how are you? Panos is going to be our guest today from Greece. It's going to be a bullish session for the dollar, Arlo says. Timothy Jabin, how are you? James, how are you? Laura, good day to you. Blake, okay, so we got everything streaming. Everything we're dreaming and streaming, right? So let's
That's
take a
right,
look.
baby. Good morning,
Uh,
Coach. Good morning.
Good
Dreaming,
morning, bro.
dreaming.
Good morning. Let's see. So I have to get rid of this thing here. Okay, so why don't I start with the usual great analysis by our friend Ryan. Good morning to you, Ryan.
Good morning, Dale.
So, buddy, a lot of people, RBA was yesterday. Is that behind the strength in Aussie today?
Yep, they kept rates on hold when they were expected to cut by 25.
Okay.
So a bit of a surprise move there, which has given the Aussie a little shot in the arm.
Do you think it's a rally to fade, or do you think we could attack that 65.80 level again?
Yeah, I think he's got a chance of getting back up there. Keeping an eye on what the dollar's doing, obviously, today, because it is looking strong again today. So yeah, it's one of these things. If we took away this trade stuff
Yeah.
today and tomorrow, then it's probably got a good chance of getting back on the wagon and going for a look at those highs.
Okay. Pound still weak.
Yeah,
Almost looks like we're on the verge of a break. It's got to dig its heels in here, I think, or we'll have some type of breakdown. This was unless we get some type of A, B, C and another rally. Cable looks critical right here at 35 and a half or so.
yeah. I'm getting a bit bearish on the pound at the moment. There's a lot of politics coming up, tax hikes and whatever in the latter part of this year. If you look at euro sterling,
Yeah,
it's on the verge of having a proper good old breakup.
yeah. Boy, that was a great hold. So I bought it here and I got out here, and here it is.
Always the way. Always the
I
way.
was, are anyone else out there that feels like they make all the tough money, and then then they watch the windfalls as a spectator? Anyway,
it's
if
it's
you're making it,
always
go
harder
ahead.
to make it than lose it.
Yeah, anyway, if you're making it, shouldn't complain. Just
No.
be grateful, and you know what? Don't be all in, don't be all out. I teach it, so do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
everybody?
I'll tell you what, I'll do what you say and you do what I say and we'll be better off.
Oh man, we would be we'd
We'll
be
be
knocking
kings.
the socks off the market. Anyway, uh, okay,
But
so
if you
euro.
take that out wider, if you take that chart out wider, maybe put it on a daily or weekly,
Okay.
it's been on a fairly decent rip.
Yeah, it has.
80 way back, I was waiting for 82
Oh,
to
yeah.
get in some longer
Yeah.
term ones. I missed that and missed
Yeah.
all the rest of it. But I
Yeah.
think I think there's a good chance
This was it.
if UK politics and financial politics is what we're talking about, if that starts going a bit wonky, I think we could be on our way to the 90s.
Okay. Yeah. So just to give everyone a little perspective, that's major. Okay. And they actually, even if the dollar rallies, the fact that this is doing this, I think is bearish a dollar with
Yeah,
euro leading. So, um, yeah, 90s. If we have equality from here, and then up here. So, if you're a member of Forex Analytix, you would have been clued in by some of our analysts, technical work that was actually calling for this for a few weeks. So
Yeah.
important to, have good intelligence gathering, right?
Yeah.
And have the discipline to keep a piece on all the time. You're pretty good at that, Ryan.
Yeah, I've been off. I've been right off the boil with this one. I'm usually well in the zone with Euro sterling, but I've been right off the boil the last couple of months with this one. But now I think it's just a case of where do you try and get in if you think it's going to be shooting higher. You either have to go with a break or a really decent dip.
Okay. Yeah, the dollar is 96 is looking more and more as time passes to have been the bottom, even though it confirmed down here. So right. So, I bought it out of principle because 96 was a target, but this made me less confident about it, but I had to do it anyway because that was my price level. So
Yeah, look at it a month ago, around the 12th of June. You could have said it was doing exactly the same thing.
yeah,
Around the 12th, 15th of June, you got a double bottom in there,
right
the
here.
RSI, yeah. And
Yeah,
you could have said exactly the same as what you said just now. Oh, that could be it at
yeah,
96. And then a
yeah,
week later, we're
yeah,
going to new lows again.
right. So and that's still possible, isn't it? I mean,
Yep.
I think we have to clear 98 would be a big level for it to reclaim. That would give it more confirmation or over the 298 and a half.
Yeah.
So, right now, you never know if you have a top or a bottom. You could have a top, a bottom, but
Yeah.
whether they're significant or not, you only know through the rear view mirror.
Yeah.
As time passes, time has to pass to see how significant any move is in the market.
And
Everyone
we're
with me?
we're watching the clock. We're watching the clock this week. If we get to Thursday, get through this trade deadline, and the worst we're getting is all these letters. Another deadline, August the 1st. There's no real big crunching news.
Yeah,
Then all this stuff goes into the rearview mirror again, and we go back to trading what we were before. And what we were trading before was dollar weakness. So it'll be interesting. But if we get over this hump and you get your Dixie down at 96 and it holds again after all this,
yeah.
then maybe you've got something else brewing, a bit more of a solid bottom forming for the dollar.
Yeah, wherever the bottom comes in, whether it's here or one more break, this is 5. Okay, so and that's going to correct this whole move from 110. So I think when we do have a bottom, and it could be now, I think there's a rally back to 103 coming.
Got to
Okay,
start somewhere, isn't it?
what's that?
It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, one of these days, the broken clock will be right. And anyway, let's move on to K. K, more follow through.
Morning, Dale. Morning, everybody.
Morning with yen. I'd been talking about from 143 that I thought we would take out 148, and as it was, based upon this, was a confirmed high. It peaked with, you know, uh, confirmed highs, so that there was a chance for it to try it again. I wouldn't chase it here, but what
It's
do
an
you think?
ABCD, Dale, from the
Up
lows.
up here?
Perfect. From very low to the second high, and then same equal distance. Yep.
Okay.
To
All
the
right.
pip.
So, all right. Well, see, I didn't know that. So that's really the edge of being in a community. You just saw it demonstrated. To me, it looks overbought. Blake's really, all the guys are, but Blake especially is really on top of formations and technical things that you may not see, just like this example right now. All right, so if you're not in the chat and you're not getting this stuff, you're giving up an edge. So when you think about joining and you go, oh, it's expensive, well, you know what? It's more expensive to not know these things. And say, for example, at a completion of a formation, you're getting long, right? Oh, the yen's I'm going to go. But see, now you know this. Anyway, that's my real big belief. I've always been a believer in communities, and well, not always. When I was younger, I only wanted to know what people were doing so I could fade them and then say ha ha ha. But that's a long time ago. We make a big deal out of being independent traders. I will trade independence for collaboration with guys that have skills any day. So that's the end of my homily today. And sorry I went on a diatribe here. Okay, so go ahead with the end.
Well, everything has been said already.
All right. Oh, okay.
So it's the letter that has been sent has given the yet another whack, but it's been coming, right? They can't get an agreement. So for the yen to strengthen, the only thing right now is to really get an agreement between the US and Japan. Akazawa has tried again today. Still hasn't found any solution. So yeah, I guess we look for yen rallies to continue to sell unless they find a deal, and then we will probably go for one big round the other side, and then we will have to look at the details of what's in the trade deal. So yep. The yen is by no means out of the woods if you look at this.
Yeah.
For as long as there's no deal, I wouldn't count on this.
Okay. Yeah. You have any view on looney?
So up and down and in the middle in the 36s. For me, longer term, the big zone is still 137, 138, and for as long as we are below, it's still somewhere a rally sell, I would say, unless you start to break above 138, and then the thing is probably going off to the races. It's Canada and Mexico are on a different schedule with the US, right? Due to the USMCA. So
yeah,
Canada will move perhaps with oil or whatever, but even then, it's not really. Everybody is just looking at the deals that they could or could not get. So yeah, now the dollar is back a bit stronger. So dollar CAD is back towards the upper side of the 136s, but still longer term. If you look at the longer term picture, it's still one that says if you don't break above 138, it's not necessarily a good play to be long for the longer term. Short term, it's probably going to continue to yo-yo.
okay. It kind of looks like we're setting up some type of bull flag after this. Here's the flagpole.
Yeah, there's a lot of flags around in a lot of currencies.
All right, let me ask you about NOK, and this was something Blake and I talked about. And look how strong it's been during even bouts of dollar weakness in the last week or so, where things pulled back and euro made a new high. The most bullish thing the market could do is come out of the hole
Yeah.
and not give up a lot of price, but work off an overbought condition, which we had here, just by moving sideways. It's kind of bullish action. I think we get through 10-15, it could run.
Yeah, that's the one. I've got 14.5, 17. I've got a very, very decent zone in the dollar Norway. I was looking at it yesterday. If it gets through there, then I guess we're off to the races again. What will drive it is probably a bit of risk coupled to energy prices, but because the Norges Bank was not clear at all on their last meeting, so I don't think we can get too much from that. Just in the knowledge that they are still selling but it's very minor amounts now, Norwegian kroner every day. So but yeah, it really needs to go through that 14.5, 17 for me at least to start moving higher in a bigger way, I would say.
Gold silver ratio, they were trying to break it again. We're putting in a higher low. Close kind of crummy yesterday because silver was way outperforming. It was again this morning too for a while, and now they're about equal. You doing anything with silver here?
No, I'm waiting. If it goes above 37, I lighten up, and then I just hope for that move down in the 35s again, for as long as we're above 35.15, 34.85 to add. No, here, what is there to do? I don't know. It's actually even silver doesn't really overreact. Yeah, it may have. Maybe one of the reasons that the gold silver ratio is lower is because, as I've been endlessly repeating now, is that silver needs a better environment than gold. So less hedges in gold, silver ratio comes down. Silver was the better performance, but now but now it's like just hopping up and down here.
You
We're
know,
really having,
this does correlate with the dollar at times. The
mm,
gold silver ratio. A lot of people, hate correlations, and but this is one.
yeah.
So, I mean, here you go. So there's the gold silver
Looks a bit
ratio.
like a descending wedge what we have now in the gold silver ratio, and
Yeah, yeah, it does.
yeah, we need but we need a solution. But the solution will likely come during this month, I reckon. I just hope that all those deadlines now, the 1st of August, are not going to get pushed back. So at least we get some kind of clarity, and then this one should be on the move again, whether it's good or bad. If the outcome of all the tariff negotiations are really bad, this one is probably going to go back up to 100. But if we get better resolutions of tariffs, less tariffs, better trade deals, we're probably going for the next leg lower, and then I guess a serious leg lower if that's the direction.
Yeah, yeah, if this is just a continuation formation. So everyone, can you say breakdown? So last week I talked about it, TLT getting to this major level that we'd have a breakdown under 87.5, and this is a problem for a lot of things, unless we're just going to put in a higher low. But I don't know what's going to turn them. I'm not, I think there's a chance over the next several weeks that we challenge the low of the move on the Moody's downgrade, but certainly an ugly chart for now. And here's a 10-year getting through resistance and through all the moving averages. No one was looking for this last week. I mean, everyone was on the other side of the boat. All the Fed governors that were converted to doves. Lower rates are coming. Lower rates are coming. Not now, not right away. Anyway, that I think this is important that we negated this breakdown at 430. So path of least resistance for me is higher yield still. What do you think?
Yeah. It, the big beautiful bill. Maybe we could add another B to it. Big beautiful bill, baby, and that I think is pushing. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we had a better jobs report as well,
yeah,
helping a bit there. But I think it's rather the people being a bit worried about the bill. The thing is, though, if you get the big beautiful bill and you get an economy that continues to hold, then we may actually see a surprise much higher in yields.
yeah. All
But
right.
it's something I think is too early to call any of those moves definitive. And because there may be some next jobs report comes out very weak. It's back at 420, and from there we will see again. But with everything that's going on, imagine that we don't get good trade deals for the US, then that the fiscality will roar its ugly head up again, and I think higher yields won't then go paired with a higher dollar. But it's still a bit early to say all of that, to tell all of that.
Thanks so much, K-Man. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, K-Man. What's top of mind, Blake? And I'll
Um,
surrender the charts to you.
okay. Obviously we're seeing some dollar, bouncing here. And what's top of mind is like the euro dollar bull flag pattern. It was the chart of the day yesterday. We got to the top of the flag. I actually turned around and shorted the euro last night. I got hit on an order, and These are open positions that got open last night. You can see them in the chat room. I put them there like they got hit, and then I just closed the euro for 47 pips on part of my position. So I'm just kind of scalping around these levels, and this is the Forex Analytics chat room. So if you want to know what Ryan's trading and what K-Man's trading and all these other great traders in here, just be in the Forex Analytics community. You can have a running idea of exactly what I'm, keeping on at the moment. I'm not convinced that the euro is going higher. It's in a bull flag pattern. It is, it is a bullish development, but as I've, explained the last couple of weeks and spent a lot of time on the week ahead video this weekend discussing about, the way the dollar could rally from current levels. I'm not convinced that the euro is ready to go higher. Let's just put it that way. And that's why I'm playing both sides of this at the moment. So I'm being pretty flexible at this stage. We were just having a conversation, speaking of in the chat room. If you go over to the general chat room, Mr. Fox is having a conversation with us, and Daniel just made mention of this right here, just in the chat room as we're doing this live show. He was, curious of what an ABCD is, and it's basically an equal leg move. And this is the dollar yen. We put out this chart yesterday in the chat room, and we talked about, well, actually, I even put it in the analysis last night. I believe I did. Let me double check that. If you guys read the basic technical analysis at night, an ABCD completion would put the 146.66 level as the upside target near term. That was last night. Today's high was 146.65 and 0.2 of a pip. So I've been off by 0.8 of a pip thus far. Not saying that we won't go any higher than that, but you can see how we've reached a equal leg. It's also the long-term 618 retracement from this level to the most recent big drop. And intraday relative strength is overbought and divergent. So, that all suggests that somewhere around this level, we're going to find some sellers. But it's not just the dollar yen. I also want to point out the euro yen, which, K-Man was, saying he's been long, and he's been long like the last, how many days you been long this thing, K-Man? Oh, he's not here. So anyway, we just hit a 261%.
Sorry, I'm here, but I lost you for a minute. Yeah, I've been long on and off for the past 5-6 big figures or so. Yeah, but I
since it broke out like this 166 level, K-Man's been playing this to the long side, which is really great. But we were targeting this 261% extension, and great trading, by the way, K. But like the odd, or like the dollar yen, you got the euro yen up at resistance at the 261% extension. That's where we were targeting last night. Relative strength is now divergent. You see that the dollar yen is completing an ABCD, and you can see that the euro is showing signs of weakness, even though it's in a bull flag pattern. So I'll put all this together, and these yen pairs might have run their course near term. And so if we see some dollar strength, we see some dollar yen weakness, we're going to see yen pairs come under some pressure. Now, one of the other ones that I think is a big deal that we were talking about last night in Asia is the Mexican peso Japanese yen is at very critical resistance. It is at the 38% retracement. Also, big resistance level that it struggled at, over the last several years. I think that the dollar MEX is at levels that should be bought. I'm long dollar MEX, just so you guys know. But I think dollar MEX, after, spending the entire year of coming down from above 20 down to the 18 handle, which we've been talking about since December of last year. Now that it's here, this carry trade might be a little played out. The carry isn't so great in the Mexican peso, not like it was. What's Banxico's rate right now, Ryan? 7.5%?
It's 7.5 or 8, something like that.
Yeah, where's the US?
420-ish, 430 in the middle.
So think about that carry interest. It's not as
Mexico
not
is
as
still
great.
8%.
What's that, K-Man?
8%.
8%. So you have a carry trade that's not really producing what it used to, and that's one of the reasons why you can see that the price action compression has been a lot less, especially as stocks are at all-time highs. So as a result, if we start to see a stock market correction or there's any type of freaking out, it's going to be you're going to need a lot less downside pressure in equities to provoke a squeeze in the Mexican peso, or that would be a reason to sell.
I sure wouldn't be short.
Yeah, and I'm starting to play it to the long side down here because you're not paying a whole lot of money to be you still have to pay out interest, obviously, especially on days like Wednesday, but it's hard to be short down here after such a great move. And so, when you take a look around, there's a lot of different opportunities that really surfacing in the FX market, in my opinion. But we do have to get through this week. I'm going to ask Ryan. There's all this these tariff headlines, and lots of different countries are being targeted. What are you making of the trade war that's been reignited? What are you making of all this, and where should you think our focus should be, Ryan?
Well, I've just given you Dale a jinx card in the room for talking about not being short $MEX, which I still am. So thanks for that, guys.
Well, hey, there's two sides. There's two ways to
Yeah.
make money in this market, right? So.
I know. Yeah, it's, as I said earlier, you've really got to take the next couple of days as a one-off event, see what happens, see what letters or not Trump's going to throw around, what other stuff he's going to do, until we cross this deadline. As I say, if we've seen the worst of it and we get through the deadline tomorrow and nothing else is coming, as I say, the market's going to forget about this very quickly because it's got another deadline to worry about in August, and that's light years away in trading terms. So then we need to see what's going to happen. Is dollar selling going to resume? Will we get euro dollar going to 120 like everyone's been expecting? Or has something changed and the dollar selling has gone as far as it needs to go, and then we need to see what happens after that. So yeah, just if you're trading now, you just take your profits when you see them, take your partials, whatever, if you're getting a trade, because like I said to Dale, 2 days time it could be a different story, and something that was a solid bottom today might be absolutely nothing in 2 days time.
It's a great point. K-Man, you have anything that's like jumped out at you the last 24 hours regarding trade and tariffs and
Jumping out. Well, of course, the thing we need to look out for is that if Trump sends a letter to the EU, because
Yeah.
there has been negotiations going on. Von der Leyen was talking as well to Trump, actually, and we don't know whether a letter is going out or not, and that's going to be important for all things euro, which I guess is more going to have an effect on euro crosses than perhaps euro dollar as such, because it could be that Europe says like, okay, this is not the worst that could have been, but for the US it's going to be half a victory if they come, or at least a victory if they come to an agreement with a bloc like the EU. So that is something I think we can never forget that it's possible. But if a letter goes out, the first reaction will be probably euro is probably going to dump through 116.80 and going to have a look lower. So be careful there. The rest. Yeah, I'm with Ryan. We discussed it on the Flow show about the sterling. Sterling is gradually starting to look a bit weaker, and yeah, maybe looking for levels to get short sterling in some way or form. If it's the dollar side, probably cable going to go a bit faster down than something like euro dollar also. But yeah, it's something that we need to keep a close eye on. For the rest, trade as it comes.
All right. All right. Well,
How do I trade that opinion?
Which one?
The whole opinion.
Whole
trade is
opinion? Well, I mean, you know what? You buy euro sterling, but you put a very close stop on it, in case they send out that letter. But what we kind of said on the Flow Show is that perhaps sending out the letter to the EU will give us an opportunity to buy euro sterling low.
Oh yeah, okay. So wait for a break to buy.
Yeah, wait
That could be.
wait for a drop on the back of a letter or so, and then get on board. This is one of the options that we were talking about.
All right, cool. All right, man. All right, Blake. You know, if you could, I know you want to wrap it, but you're the host, so I can't.
I'll give it to you. But as I wanted to mention, if you guys haven't put in your name and email address to the for our newsletter to see what is developing over at Trading Analytics, I know on this week's newsletter. Ryan, I'm not going to give away the spill the beans. There was some commentary in the newsletter talking about some of the new features that we're bringing to Trading Analytics. So if you want to be notified as it's coming along, as development is being made, sign up for the newsletter. Plus, you'll be entered to win one of 2 trader funding program assessments. And matter of fact, we have a winner from last month, from June, and she has received an email and instructions on how to get started. So if you want to be a potential winner, you have to put in your full name, email address. I know some of you will put in multiple email addresses, which is fine. I mean, I can't stop you.
Yeah,
You
there
know.
you go. So it's got to be fine.
I mean, I don't want you to do it. It's just you're going to do it anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of
It
telling
doesn't
my
work.
kid. It's
Don't
telling
bother, it doesn't work.
my 18-year-old kid, look, you can't drink a beer, but I know you're going to drink a beer anyway. When even if I tell you not to. So whatever.
So
Anyway,
so here, sons, cheers.
cheers, kid. Let's have a shot of tequila at the same time. No, I just make sure you guys get signed up for that. You can find it right in the middle of our Forex Analytics page. Everybody, good luck today.
Can you promote Panos for me?
Yeah,
Panos
absolutely.
Papadopoulos.
Yep. Going over
Panos
there.
Papadopoulos.
Why don't you wrap us up, and I'm going to go find Panos.
Okay, Panos. And as you could tell, he's from the Acropolis, Papadopoulos. Panos runs family offices, and he was here once. He has some news. He's setting up his own website, and as soon as we have him, you see him, Blake?
Yeah, I'm trying to promote him. You have to accept that, Panos.
Yeah.
And, he's
There,
coming
he
over.
did. He did.
All
it.
right.
So, team, great job. Thanks for letting me grill you every day. And I also like to throw a fat pitch once in a while too. So, good advice. Today, Ryan and K-Man and Blake, always on top of it. Best team on the net. If you agree with me, give me a Y. Put it up there. That's right. The best team on the net, and then we bring in people that might have competitive services because we want you to find your best fit, and we're confident enough to know that we'll risk a subscriber for someone if they feel like they could have a better run somewhere else. But find someone, other company, and I'll ask you, Panos, that brings in people that have other products to bring them on and expose them to their community is a statement in itself. All right. So
yeah.
What do you think, Panos? I mean, you want to promote me once you get your website open and put
Absolutely.
All right, good. Okay, we have a deal. Anyway,
hello, Dale. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me back. It's such an honor and pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I do see that you're, starting something new, and I want you
Yeah,
to be able to share the screen. Here's in 93 days.
yeah,
Remember that wherever your heart is. I like that.
yeah.
Do you know that our hearts think too? It's not just your brain, but that
Uh,
our,
I totally agree. And actually, it's a life principle for me from
okay.
the book, The Petite Prince.
Okay. All right.
Um, so far, I have the progress of a snail regarding that project because I had an end target in mind. But during that, I fell in love with the process, and life always brings some obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be towards the end of the year. I'm very excited about what I'm preparing.
Okay.
I have prepared something today for your amazing viewers. If you like,
Okay.
I can share it.
Go ahead. It's at the bottom.
It's the bottom, more
It's
share.
a green button.
Yeah. Okay, here we are.
How's the temperature in Greece today?
Well, it's quite hot.
Yeah.
And you asked Stelios the other time,
Yeah.
but because I was a bit stressed, it was our first interview, and then I was started to thinking about it. I don't know if Stelios is with us. I didn't hear him today,
Yeah. Do
but
you know?
yeah, I don't know Stelios, but I know his parents. They are such
Oh,
wonderful and amazing people. He's so lucky.
okay. All
It's the
right.
same village, so maybe I meet him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's well, you know what?
Yeah,
You described Stelios. You know how they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree?
absolutely. Yeah,
So
I know. I'm
you
sure.
talk, yeah, you talk about, his parents.
Amazing
You're
people.
same type of person.
Yeah,
Kind,
yeah.
kind. He rarely
Humble.
ever. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
very smart.
Except when he's, on a roll in silver, he drops a little of it, a little of his
And
humility. But
he must be
he,
happy, I think, from the
yeah,
past interviews I've watched.
yeah, he's he's a great guy. He's one of
Yeah.
the best I know in the business. So, all right, so you prepared
Okay.
this for us?
I can start if you like.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Please allow me to make a very quick recap because everything is connected here. Okay. And I'll start with the US dollar first. In late September
Okay.
last year, that was exactly on a key date I had shared well in advance. And then it rallied aggressively into the end of the year, as we expected. I had a target at 109 to 111. It reached 110.17 on the 13th of January. And on the 14th of January, I said it's time to be prudent and protect your profits.
Okay. All right. Your volume is
Now,
scrambling
okay,
a little bit.
I'll show. Is it?
But
Well, we have a terrible
it's good
internet
now.
connection here, I have to say. Okay,
Okay,
and
well,
I
you're
have to
okay
warn
now.
you
So,
that it's unstable.
okay, that's what it
And
is. So
and
just continue, and
okay,
we'll try and understand through the garble when it happens. But it
okay, okay,
only happens occasionally. So go ahead.
okay. Now, moving into the first quarter of the year, we reached target 110, but it was critical to exceed 111. We failed to do so because we had a back test in late January, and then we decisively broke the January low. That's very important because that has set the tone for the remainder of the year, and I'll show you where I'm getting very soon. I marked some targets on the chart. That was the December low, but the major target was the professional accumulation and distribution area. In the previous interview, I made a brief introduction about what's a professional accumulation area. That's the area where you see very strong buying and selling pressure from the professional market players. So it's not
And
a typical.
and how do you get that from the COT?
COT is one of the components. It's market structure, and it's also some WD GAN gems I discovered through my research. So
Yeah.
it's basically three things. Well,
I have a suggestion on the volume from Galaxy that if you come off camera, that might help the volume.
help.
Yeah, it might
Okay,
help. So
might
just,
help.
you know, yes. We know how handsome you are. So
Well, I think you're the only one who says that.
so you just turn off your video.
Okay, where do I turn off my video?
That's
No.
on your end. Oh, it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom. There's a mic, and then there's a video on the left-hand side. All right, just go ahead. Carry on.
I don't see it here.
Just carry on.
Audio.
I'll turn off your video.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, great. Okay, we already knew this, of course, Panos, thanks. So now what? Now, if we study, and I can say that you couldn't have timed this interview better, Dale. If we study the market structure for the US dollar from the past 57 years, from 1967, you will find that April is the key.
Okay.
I have overlaid some years here that are very common to what we are seeing so far. You can see them 1998 to 2020. I have 7 years. But in my conclusion, I have included many other years, but TradingView didn't allow me to plot them. What is the key message here? If we close above the high of April on a monthly basis, and that is 104.36, there is an 85% probability the US dollar would rally for the foreseeable future, at least for another 3 to 5 months. So that's a big thing to know.
Yeah, I'm looking for about 103 on the recovery here. And that's going to be kind of my line in the sand.
Yeah,
like
that's
a
possible.
50% retrace of this decline. Do you think that we've turned to be able to get up towards those levels? And to me, I want to ask you something. If the April low was so important, and we took it out, and now we're threatening that low, if we close back above the April low, is that a false breakdown to you and a buy signal?
I would say it's a short-term buy because it's coupled with a bullish seasonal window I have highlighted on the chart.
Okay.
But for the main trend, it doesn't mean anything really.
Okay.
We need to close above the month of April on the monthly. Of course, for experienced and seasonal traders like you, I'm sure you will figure that out much earlier, but I'm saying that rule. If we reject, and we are exactly now testing the April low now, okay?
Right, yeah.
If we reject, then I think it's highly likely we will drop to the 93, 94 level.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind, we are 34 months from the major 2022 high. So I know you all Fibonacci lovers, and so this is I think we are very close to a significant low anytime from here to September. My personal gut feeling is that probably in August, September. So a bounce possibly here. And this is definitely supported also by the COT positioning so far.
Yeah, well, I
So
read that.
how the dollar? Yeah.
I read that CTAs or hedge funds added to their
Yeah.
bearish positions in the dollar. Isn't it a very crowded trade, bearish a dollar?
It is, but if we look a few months earlier, the reverse of this trade, when the euro was bottoming, that process took 11 weeks
You mean
before.
from the 102 level?
I mean, from the breakout and backwards.
Okay.
I think it broke in February, was it? I don't have much.
recall.
When
It's
it
okay.
broke 104, it was ranging for several weeks, and then it had a decisive break. From the moment of the break going backwards, that was 11 weeks of accumulation process and heavily shorting by the TTAs you mentioned. We are not there yet if we take the mirror view. So that's for the dollar. S&P now. In November, I had a target of 6,177 for the nearest futures. It made a high at 6,178. That was the high for the year. We tried to break it in mid-February. We failed. So that opened the door for the pullback. And as we were having the sharp decline, I mentioned many times on Twitter that new all-time highs were coming. And I will explain why. And I wrote that these highs are still begging to be broken. And we have already broken those highs. So we are in new all-time highs territory. And so where do we go from here? When you interviewed me in January, I had some material on the Dow, and together I think we discussed and had a same target around 6,400. I can give it maybe to 6,600. For this year, I think that's the max in my view. What is very interesting here is the COT positioning, and particularly the speculative funds holding one of the smallest long size. I'm not saying net position, I'm talking about the number of long contracts. It's particularly one of the smallest 20 numbers they have ever held. And in most of the times, not always, but almost always, they get it wrong. So I think we are close to see potentially here a short-term high, but I don't think we are still at the major high. I see that coming later in 2025, late, and I'll explain why in the following slide.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into detail.
In the interest of time,
Yeah. How
maybe
much time do?
in the interest
Okay.
of time,
Yeah.
maybe we skip the history and go to what's happening now.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
We don't need the history lessons.
Okay.
I'm sure you called everything pretty good.
No.
We need to know, what you're thinking from here.
From here, this is a slide I presented in January, and what we discussed then, that I was expecting a decline with a buying opportunity in summer and followed by a rally into late 2025. And that would probably form the major top. Now, this low came a bit earlier. It came in April, but I still think I'm very confident that this forecasted from mid-October for a major top to late 2025. Okay. The target for the low was around 38. We made 36.6. For the high, I think 50 is my max for this year. Okay. Now, gold. We have been very bullish, obviously. Short term, we have hit a major target at 3,500. So I think it's very healthy and necessary. to consolidate a bit more or have a pullback. And I think it's possible we can see a retest at least of that May low. Long term, I think we're going 4,100. If we do not break the May low and we continue to range, I think that's a hint we're going to 6,000 or 7,000. And that is based on the past history of gold and its response to professional accumulation distribution areas. Now, timing.
Let me ask you
Potential
something.
short-term.
So
Yeah.
May low, you think that there's a possibility of testing. What would happen if we retested and took out the April low? You don't think that's going to happen, but in this business, anything.
Everything can happen, but I think it will be a brief test.
Okay.
Very brief.
Okay.
I would be very excited to see it continue to range. For me,
Okay.
that's a strong sign we're going to above 6,000. Potential timing for any tradable highs or lows, 21 to the 29th of July. And then even much more important, 14th to the 22nd of August.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, and now silver, to understand where we are, big picture, the horizontal lines are professional ADs. I've discussed again. These are extremely important. We broke the 2607, and that was the real breakout. The last 8 of the chart. So where are we today? We are exactly above that level. And not only that, we are consolidating. There is no guarantee it will continue like that, but so far this is the perfect setup. If we continue to consolidate and move decisively away above 37, it will go vertically if history repeats, and I will explain why. Long term, I think new all-time highs coming well above 50, just a matter of time, and I think quite soon, frankly.
Okay.
And why 37.31 is important. Here is a chart of gold, and this was the highlighted area I have in gray. You can see that gold was consolidating, ranging above the 2,000 mark, and there is a red area. That was the last professional distribution. And we ranged. I wrote on Twitter, that's the best thing. We want to see a decisive move away. And gold broke decisively, and from 2,000 it went to 3,500. So you can see the potential for silver is enormous.
Yes.
And another example, so I'm not talking about the small minor moves. We're looking at the big picture. USD JPY, again, gray area, August to September 2021. It was consolidating above a blue accumulation area, decisive move away, another consolidation above the last professional distribution, and then it literally exploded for many, many months. What else do I have here?
Well, what about the yen now? That was a history lesson.
Well, the yen, it all depends on the dollar. I think if the dollar manages to turn April into support, the yen will peak.
Okay.
It all depends on how the dollar. I don't think the major low is still here, but it's getting close.
Okay.
At least the prudent trader investor would start scaling out and hold some cash here.
So you would be liquidating US dollar yen here at 145 or so. Because I think we could go 150.
So I think we can easily, yeah. Because I was looking at the euro, and it could happen. I was looking at the euro, and it's trading at 117. It can still go to
Okay.
120s, the very low 120s. From there, I would definitely scale out.
Okay.
And here is a buying opportunity that is developing here.
Sugar.
Sugar. I'm watching July, mid-August for a significant low price either here, but ideally I would like to see silver pull back into the 13, 14 area. I think this is really a great buying opportunity. And I'm also watching corn.
Yeah.
And
all the grains, wheat.
Yeah, I think the grain complex is very interesting now. And one market, I think that was one of my last tweets, because I haven't tweeted for a while, was soybean oil.
Yeah, if it gets through
And
that
it was, I
1050.
think, at 46. It's now 54. I think it's going to the 65.
What's
But
that
it's a bit
market?
volatile.
What is
Pardon?
it? What was the market you garbled on that?
Soybean oil is trading
Oh,
around.
soybean oil. Okay.
Yeah, it's 54. I have a target at 65, and then I
Okay.
will reassess.
Okay. Well, you got some nice compliments on your charts from
Thank you
Mandy.
very much. I appreciate it.
Nice clean charts, kind of naked charts. I hope you keep, if you trade naked, I hope you keep your curtains drawn. And
Yeah.
and anyway, Panos, what what's the best way for people to follow you? I'm glad you like that. What?
I have a Twitter account. I have also a LinkedIn, but I'm not active there. So I will be active again very soon on Twitter. So it's Pan Palobar, the handle, @Pan Palobar. And yeah, that's
All
where
right.
I
Well,
post. Yeah.
okay. Well, it was great seeing you again and
Thank you,
talking to
sir.
you,
I
and
appreciate it.
some real interesting stuff. And gave us some time zones and prices to watch. I want to thank you for coming here to edify our community, Panos.
Thank you very much, Dale. I really appreciate. You're a very generous and wonderful man to help people that are on this journey.
We get help by helping.
Yeah, exactly. I
You
agree.
you don't
Absolutely.
get. If you give, you get. So anyway, Panos, you're my trading
I
player
totally
now,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
And I hope you meet
Thank you.
Stelios one day, and
Yeah.
we'll set up a date for September for you to
Yeah.
come
Thank you
back.
very much. That would be lovely. Good
All
luck
right.
and good trading to all. Watch the
All right.
April monthly candle.
Okay,
It
watch
doesn't
him.
lie.
You could tell this man uses a telescope. All right. How many people come here and talk about monthly charts?
Uh,
Sign of a pro.
I have that gun paper with the
Yeah.
squares, the charting paper. I have a ton of that paper, and I hand draw charts still.
Oh my God.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking me back.
I'm not a tech guy. You can see I struggle to even find the buttons.
Oh, we're kindred spirits on that. They dragged me kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
Yeah, but you're doing a wonderful job.
Well, I'm just, I get paid to talk and show charts, and I feel fortunate
Well
to do it.
deserved.
And thank you so much, Panos. And
Thank you, sir.
we'll talk in the fall, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Goodbye to everyone.
Mandy said, "Oh my God, how big is your house? Need lots of walls for the GAN paper." Right?
Yeah,
All right.
that's true.
So remember, everyone, don't just count your GAN charts, count your blessings. And
Exactly. Yeah.
have a great day today, and see
You
everyone
too.
tomorrow.
Love
Thank you,
and peace to everyone.
Yes.
Bye.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you, sir.